and welcome back to my channel, Jordan Mind, Body, and Soul, where we learn to take care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul. And today's conversation is more so just kind of like part 3 to me quitting my job. So today would be 3 days. I quit my job 3 days ago with no true plan as far as a job already aligned when I quit, but plans, yes, as far as how I'm going to have income coming to the house. So let's get started. Okay, so what got me thinking about this conversation in general is that I was brought up with the expectation of going to college. And I knew when I was like even able to speak. I remember vividly sitting in my grandma's house talking to, I can't remember if it was my cousin or my aunt, but I just remember them sitting in the brown leather chair that has his back toward the door. And they were walking me through like the grades. So they're like first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, all the way up. And then I would get so confused once it got to high school, because then it was like the breakdown, like ninth grade, you're a freshman, sophomore, so on and so forth. And then college. And then from that moment on, like, I always thought of like schooling as being like forever. Like, it's gonna take me forever. Like, I'm always gonna be in school. And I was okay with that because for the most part, I've always enjoyed learning. But two things happened in that dynamic. So first, I feel like the generation, I'm a millennial. I believe my parents are Gen Xers because they're not baby boomers. So our parents were taught the same thing, like education's important and you need to go to school. You need to learn, because if you go to school, you learn, you can get a degree and you can get a good job, right? And in that time, I felt like the jobs that were like really, really, really highly revered were like the doctors, lawyers, dentists, like all those stuff. And they still are today, but we have so much more of them because there's so much more people. So back then, getting a degree would mean so much more and take you so much further than where it's getting you today. Now stick with me because I'm gonna get you there. So engraving that in me, and even in Legend, I'm more so like teaching him, like, I want you to first learn and understand truth. I'm gonna help you decipher the lies from the truth, and then we can go from there as far as you pursuing whatever it is you want to do. If it's a trade, if you do get a degree, whatever it is. So that's okay. That's okay that we do that. That's okay that we want to put our children, our people in those positions to do what we think would make them more money. So riding off of like what I said earlier about it being like so many more people with degrees now, it makes the market more saturated, right? Because before, when there was only a few people, like if a family had like, let's say 3 kids, then they were like, okay, this child, that's the one that's gonna go to college, and the rest of the kids don't. I mean, I've seen that with the dynamic in my family, where the one who was thought or believed to be the more disciplined, or I don't even want to say more intelligent, it's just school has to do with consistency and discipline. The one to be the most successful scholar would be the one that would go to college, and the others would have to figure it out. And now that's not the case, because now there's degrees from any colleges. I mean, what's that one college that always comes on TV? I think it's like Southwestern or something like that. And you can you have your degree. So in terms of actually acquiring or getting a degree, more people have them. So for me, I can definitely say that it is obvious that the bachelor's degree, at least first, has lost its power because so many people have obtained them, which is good. I'm not mad at nobody for getting a degree if that's what you want to do. But then it makes me question a few other things that I'll discuss later in the video. So in that, I feel like we are taught to be workers, right? Because we're taught to go to school so we can get our degree so that we can work at, and we'll either have like really prestigious schools we want to go to, or we'll have like Fortune 500 companies that we want to work for. And that's all. Like, you're just taught that from the moment you are in Jumpstart all the way until you're graduating high school. You are disciplined to regurgitate information that's going to make you the most effective worker. And in that, you don't see as many people suggesting the trades or the skills of things that we need in our society. Like, I was literally thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I do remember taking home economics in middle school. I think I was in 7th grade. But then by the time high school came, I don't remember us having like any classes. No, we did have economy class that was pretty good, but it was not everybody could have it. It was an elective. So there's no type of setting outside of schooling really for people to develop these informations, because who else is going to teach people? Their parents. Well, where are their parents? The parents are working. So it's kind of a cycle of, how are you going to be a worker? And I think that stifles a lot of people like me and other creatives who otherwise would have just embarked on the entrepreneurial journey on their own, because they're told, no, that's not the way. The way is for you to go to school, get your degree, da 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 da, and you do it, and then you follow the steps. And I think so many people right now are so upset because they're like, I did exactly what I was told, right? You said go to school, I went to school. You say keep your GPA up, graduated with a 3.7. You said go to college, I went to college. Now it's time to find a job. The market's saturated and you're having a hard time finding a job. There's more to that. Hold on, let me make sure I'm in order. So this is actually another component of it that I've learned from one of the economists that I follow on YouTube, who said that another problem that we're starting to experience right now is because inflation is so high, because bills are so high, and people are, having to return to the work market. People who had retired are coming back to either help provide for themselves, their family, their loved ones. You're seeing people return to the market who have left, meaning more competition. But with saturation too. But what it also means is that, like, some of these degrees or some of these jobs that you see, these postings, right? They'll be like, you need to have a PhD, 20 years of experience, and 30,000 references. It's just like the requirements are crazy, and then they're like $18 an hour. Wait, okay. So I did all that work to get a PhD, and I'm just giving like an example. There's other examples that are opposite of mine, obviously. Like, come on, apply it. But yeah, so it's crazy. And even like me personally, I can name about 10 people right now who graduated from college. Four who have a master's degree, and 6 of them who just have their bachelor's degree. But the ones who have the master's degree are working in their field. They're doing what they want, but they have like at least 1 or 2 other jobs. They have 1 or 2 other jobs to keep them afloat, to help them pay their bills. But again, they're looking at it like, I did what you told me to do. I went to school, I got my degree, I'm in my field, and I still have to have another job just to get by. Like, this isn't like, the job that I have, I went to school for something bad. Like teachers, those are people who are huge staples in our society. It just frustrates me because, like, with the old job that I had so many clients that were teachers. And I had so many of those clients that were teachers that quit being teachers because they're like, the pay is nothing. And everything that you have to go through to acquire your degree and the certifications that you have to have, and then what you put up with from parents who feel like your job is to raise their child, like, they should be one of the highest paid professions. They should. They're babysitting your kids. That should be one fee alone. And then they're teaching them. Like, some of y'all, especially we've seen it during the pandemic, some of y'all can't even chill and teach your own kids. So for teachers to be in that position and be so stressed out and underpaid, like, that's a problem. Nurses, they're another one. I worked with a lot of nurses, and they were saying the same thing. Like, I loved it, I was passionate about it, I worked hard for it, but now it's getting to the point where it's like the money's not even worth everything that's coming with it. And in that, I think another thing that we have to do is to start holding companies and corporations accountable for their actions, for what they do, for how they make us feel, and the positions that we are in. I know, like, a lot of people, especially like the older generations, they're like, you guys are so soft. You guys are so, you guys can't take anything. You don't want to work. And that's not the case. The case is that we know that you were supposed to work to live your life. You're not supposed to live your life so that you can work. And y'all had to do that, and y'all parents had to do that. But when does it end? Like, when did somebody say enough is enough? Let's change it so that where I'm working works for me as I work for them. Make it a fair exchange. We don't have to keep giving and giving and giving and giving and just taking it because it helps pay our bills. No, if there's something there that's not right, let's address it. Because first of all, I think that people who have worked hard for their degrees and people in the older generation are afraid of two things. They're afraid of it being easier for us than it was for them, because they're gonna feel like it's not fair. They're like, we worked hard, y'all don't want to work hard. But you don't have to work hard in that situation. You could work smarter in that situation. You're upset because we're like, hold up, flag on the play, that ain't happening. Y'all are upset about that when y'all could have called it out too. So there's a little back and forth I can see with the generations, in terms of how we approach working and how we approach the working class. But also, I mean, even talking to my father, I grew up in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a pool and a sunroom with a golf course behind our house. We was living nice, okay? And so I was just kind of talking to my dad, and of course they took time. They put work into the house. We didn't buy it like that, but we bought it, and it was still very, very nice. Very nice neighborhood. The house is now over $500,000. So when I was talking to my dad about it, I was like, well, around how much was mortgage? Like, how much was the mortgage for you? Like, honestly. And he was like, well, at the time when we bought it, it was about 2004. And the mortgage for that house, it didn't have the sunroom or the pool yet, but it did have the 3-bedroom, or it had the 4 bedrooms, the 2 baths, just a nice house with a golf course behind it. Like, just a nice house, palm trees and pools all over. Like, it's just beautiful. And he was like, I think the mortgage was about $1,200. I'm like, $1,200 for that? For that? We were living how, you see people live on TV and you're like, dang, they living nice. We were living like that for $1,200. A 1-bedroom, that's what I'm in right now. We're in a 1-bedroom. It's like just above a studio. And that's basically what we're paying for rent. So what's going on? I also remember talking to a client that I had at my previous job. I missed that job. I missed the job. I don't miss. Anyways, so I remember talking to someone. She's the sweetest person. Her daughter, I think she's either a year younger or a year older than me. I can't remember. But she was just talking about how she was so sad. She was like, I feel really bad for you guys, because she's like, her daughter, so she had 2 daughters. One of her daughters was married and had a husband, and her husband, had like generational wealth. So like he was just already doing well. She went off and married with him. Fine. Her other daughter was dating somebody, but you know, he was like a working class person. He didn't have any generational wealth. He was just working just like everybody else to get by. And she was telling her, she was talking to me and she's like, I don't know how she's gonna make it. Like, I don't know how they're ever gonna get a house. I don't know how they're ever gonna have, you know, anything, because it's really hard. And she told me straight up, she's like, I remember when I bought, or when I was renting my first apartment, she's like, it was like $200 for my apartment monthly. And she was like, the living was this, like, it was the same space that you're paying for, I paid $200 for. So I just say that to say that it's obvious to see that like times have changed and that there's multiple factors that's gone into it right now. But she admitted, she was like, even with her having a degree, she does have a job in her field, but she picked up an extra job. And I think she was working at like, I can't remember what restaurant. It's actually a pretty famous restaurant, but I can't think of the name of it right now. But she was a waitress. So she was like, and that's just because at that restaurant, especially in Houston, like you get tipped pretty well. Like your tips can cover you handsomely. And yeah, she was like, she's probably making more. She was like, oh yes, that's what she said. She said, honestly, she's probably making more money as a waitress at that job than she is in the job in her field. And she was like, and that scares me for you guys. That's what she told me. So there's some conflict between the generations, but there's also some agreements, right? You would almost have to be insane to not admit that it is a lot tougher for us. And then they're like, you guys aren't working hard enough. People, I'm telling you, like I know nurses who are like, I am tired of this. Like, I'd rather just, you know, like I said, the one nurse that I met that was like, I'd rather just be a barista. And she loves her Starbucks. She's like, I get free Starbucks. I'm out here just vibing. Like, I'd rather just do that. I have the degree. I have the skill. I want to help people. But the corporations and the businesses and the hospitals or wherever that you are, they're not putting you in positions that are going to help you win. They're not putting you in positions that are going to motivate you to to help people. They're putting you in a position that's just going to work you, make you tired. They're going to give you enough, the bare minimum, but not as much as they could. And you got to work. And then before you know it, everyone's going to work their life away. And then what? Then what? So keep in mind, you have the people with degrees returning to the work market, who are older people who have the experience, who have the 20 or 30 years of experience. They're going to be selected over you. I also remember seeing or speaking on the phone with clients at my previous job who would be like, can you help me get something close to my job? And I'm like, your job? I'm looking at their year. I'm like, because I'm nosy. I'm always looking at people's birth year. I'm like, 1945, damn. And you're going to work? Like, I thought, like, hold on. This whole dream that I thought was going to happen is not real. Like, retirement is not real. And then, like, again, like, following this economist, like, he was talking about how the retirement age for millennials is going to be an average of 75. And I was like, 75? Damn. If I'm going to be working that hard, right, and like y'all want us to do, y'all want us to work that hard, then come on. It at least got to be something that I enjoy and then conditions that I'm okay with. Like, you can't be like, you got to work to 75 and hate it. Like, Another thing that I've noticed too, that I think is a part of like this whole dynamic that's going on right now with everything just being so, the job market just being so saturated and stuff, is that in terms of finding information, right? You can go on YouTube and somebody can regurgitate information that they know and not have a degree, but their information is right and accurate. So you're getting right and accurate information, but the person who is giving it to you would not be like qualified, right? They always say that you don't have the qualifications to speak on the information, but their information is correct. And in that, right, back in the day, like my dad used to say, like, y'all lucky y'all got this, y'all lucky y'all got that, because when we was your age, we had to, when we was doing our homework, we had to walk to the library, go up the 85th floor using the stairs, grab the book that's on the top shelf, and then it's usually, they just had like some bizarre case of how they had to find an answer and information. And now we're like, Alexa, what is blah blah blah, just like that, and she tells us. So we don't rely, I say, as much on people or jobs to give us information, because instead of being like, okay, let me hire a yoga instructor to work with me, or let me do this or that, you could just be like, okay, let me hop on YouTube and watch a YouTube video, which is still good, because all in all, like, it comes full circle in that sense. But then also you could be like, okay, I'm just gonna Google some pictures and then create my own routine. So I think there's different factors here that's leading to all this, but at the end of the day, like, if people can find information like this and easily, then why are you going to school? Like, I got people who are like, oh, you have to have this amount of degree, or you got to have this certification that shows that you know the information, but this person can Google it right here and give you the answer. So that's going to be a problem in the future. That's going to be a problem in the future. We're already starting to see how it's a problem, but that's going to get kind of crazier. Yeah. And so I'm going to kind of start to wrap it up. I think too, like, it makes me like a walking contradiction, because I'm spilling out this video and I'm providing this information as a person who is currently studying for their master's degree. But in all honesty, I'm studying for my master's degree so that I can, like, I need organized information. This is another example of how we've been taught to be workers, and how we've been like taught to you gotta go to school, you gotta go to school, you gotta go to school. Because like I genuinely know and feel like people can learn the information that I'm learning in my classes right now, following the right person on YouTube, reading the right book, buying books, reading books, and spending, how much is this debt gonna cost me? Less than half of half on that. And again, having that same information. But the problem comes in that since we've been taught to work for others, if I want to work at someone else's job or company, then I need the degree, right? That's the requirement, because I'm working at their job. I need a degree. But to be honest, the last time you went and supported a small business, even if it's just like a mom and pop coffee shop, like, did you ask them when's the last time that they had their inspection? Did you ask them, like, what is their standing and business credentials right now? Like, did you ask them any of that? No, you don't. The last time you had a yoga instructor and you were like, okay, you got your YTR 200, are you looking for the 500? Are you going to continue the education? No. It's like, once you get your foot in the door for the first job, right? Because we're taught to be workers. For the first job, then you're good. Because then from there, you can either elevate into that company, or the experience that you have in that company will allow you to progress into another job. But how can we build a society that allows those people who want to do that, to allow them to pursue companies and jobs, but to not discourage the entrepreneurial spirits? Because I think the true frustrating thing to people that they hate it. People who've gone, they've always been scholars, students, and then they've always been scholar students. They graduated valedictorian at school, in high school, then they same thing in college, got a degree, and they're working at like a really a job, let's just say like somewhere with a good name, right? So on paper you're like, dang, that looks really good, and they're making good money, but they're upset because somebody they went to school with barely graduated high school, did not go to college, but picked up a trade, or learned like trading, like into the stock market and stuff like that, and is making more money than them. And they're like, what the heck? What the heck? Because that person's supposed to be the outlier, right? That person's supposed to be a nobody, right? They're an average person, but that's because of how we've been taught and how we've been trained. This is exhausting. But this is just some of the conversations that I've been having recently with myself, just thinking about like life and what I thought everything, like the American dream. And I think the most beautiful thing that I've seen someone say, which they said was a quote from someone, but I'm like, I feel like that came from somebody else first. But they said it's the American dream because you have to be asleep in order to believe it, or something like that. I think that's close enough, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, when I seen that and I have like this awakening, it's like, ugh. It just makes things so uncomfortable, because now you have to unpack a lot of things that you've learned in life and that you believed. I'm only 28 years old. A lot of things that I learned and believed in life like are being unpacked right now before my eyes, and I'm learning that a lot of things that we've been taught or told is not, it's either not true or it's not the only way. And it's getting crazier. It is getting crazier. I'm not saying that to like frighten anyone or to like make anybody like discouraged from going to school or getting your degree. Do what you want. Do what you want. I'm the biggest fan of doing whatever you feel like is best for you. And I just encourage people to be aware of what's going on. Always be aware of what's going on. And do what you think is best for you, right? Make the most informed decisions for yourself. I am not mad at somebody who was like, yes, I need to go to school. I have to. Not mad at you. I'm not mad at somebody that's like, I would never. Not mad at you either. We do what we feel like is the most informed decisions for us in those moments. And then sometimes it works out for us perfectly. And sometimes we're like, no. Because out of all the people that I know with a degree, there's only one person that I know who said to be doing well. They said they were, and I think they were. From the outside looking in, they seemed to be doing well. And then last I spoke to them, they were like, yeah, they went to a new job to, get the bag. That's what they said. So that's good. That's what's up. That means they're doing well. But then too, another thing that I think we messed ourselves up with as a whole is like chasing money, like go get the bag, get the money, because it's like, well, now we're trying to get the bag, get the money, and it's like everything is so much more expensive that we're getting the bag, we're getting the money, but we're not seeing it. Who's seeing it? The electric company, your rent, wherever you're paying rent to, they're seeing it, but you're not seeing it. But you got your bag and you gave it away because you gotta live. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think, and let's just continue this conversation. And again, like, obviously, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from getting a degree. If you feel like that's what you want to do and you feel like that's best for you, you know what I'm saying? Who am I? I'm just a person who's giving their opinion. So, as everyone does on YouTube, it kills me when people come in here and they're like, you think you know so much, or they'll be like, you're so young and you're so lazy, It's YouTube. I'm giving my opinion like everybody else on YouTube. Like, chill out. But thank you, tribe. Thank you for being there to listen and to sort things out with me, because talking to you guys and like listen to other people's opinions and experiences remind me that there's more of us united in this moment than we like to believe. Because like I said, it's about to get crazy, y'all. Y'all stay hydrated, keep eating healthy foods, meditate, work out, yoga, whatever it is you do, spend time in nature, because we're gonna need it. We're gonna need it. So make sure you take care of yourself, mind, body, and soul. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.